It's time for Coach's Corner, sponsored by Horizon Construction, the official Tiger football coaches show, with Hub Network commentary, Travis Peary, James Caulfield, and Bruce Vogt, featuring head coach Rusty Morgan on the Hub Network. And now here's your host, Joe Kennedy.
All right, well, welcome to the Horizon Construction Coaches Show, Coach's Corner, as we like to call it. Coach Morgan here, and we've got a special guest with him. We'll introduce him in just a minute, but a couple of things. It's been a busy, packed weekend, a fall break weekend, and a lot of things going on. We kind of want to start with the band. The band's had a lot going on the last week, 10 days, and they finished up all of the competition. If you can imagine all that happening in about a week's time, that's the way it was. Pretty hard schedule with the football game on Thursday, and just a lot of logistics to cover and get here and there in different towns, traveling all over the place. But a good showing by the band in all three competitions. It started off with Glenpool, kind of an invitational competition over there, then the OSSA state competition in Lawton, in which they received all superiors there. And then kind of culminates with the OBA competition last night. Gosh, is it just last night? It was a Saturday, I guess it was. Not too long ago, we were just in the Catoosa actually to finish that up, and we were able to get, if you saw on the Hub Network, of course we streamed that competition for you as well there as best we could, and we got a quick interview with the band directors just after they finished up. It's about 9 o'clock in the evening, so everybody was pretty tired, but let's take a look at that interview real quick. The three co-band directors for Cushing Marching Band, and congratulations, you guys made it through the day. It's a long day, is it not?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a very long day. It's about 9 o'clock tonight and Saturday night, and you guys have had a long day of it. But how did you feel like the show went tonight?
I think it went pretty well. Our biggest goal was to make finals in the first place. Last year, we did that for the first time as a 4A school, and this year we're able to do it again. So that was a good accomplishment. And then the goal then is just to get better in your finals performance. Hopefully your prelims placement and your finals placement are different, and hopefully you go up between prelims and finals.
I'm super proud of the kids. First of all, this is the end of fall break, and so we're really pulling some strings at the beginning of the year, just making sure that students were going to be here and not make plans, don't go on vacation, come to band instead. And we have wonderful turnout. The kids are just fabulous, and I think they're really excited to be here and show everybody what we've got.
Yeah, they've worked really hard, and no matter where we place, we're very proud of their progress.
Yep.
Very good. So, and you guys have had a week of it. This is the end of a long kind of a 10-day stint here, going through contests and competitions, and how do you feel like the whole experience has been through all the competitions from Glenpool all the way through to tonight?
Yeah, well, like Ms. Drusilla said, it's been a weird week of last Saturday being at Glenpool, then Monday normal, Tuesday going all the way to Lawton for our regional contest, and then having a day of fall break, football game on Thursday, day of fall break, and now we're here. But they did really good last year. At Glenpool we placed 9th, and this year we came out at 4th, which is a huge adjustment, a huge step in the right direction. And at our regional contests, we got straight superior ratings, which is the highest the band could get. And our color guard even did a little ensemble performance, and they got a superior rating too. So really on all levels there, we were successful. And we were the last band of the day, so they probably weren't in the best moods when they saw us. But but they still did great. And then, like I said, just getting to this finish line. I think they did a good job.
Be a good day for us tomorrow, I'm sure, for all you guys.
Absolutely. Then going back to school on Monday.
right back to it. No rest for the weary, right?
Yep.
So tonight was a little unusual because right in the middle of the performance, you had a little announcement. You can see that if you go watch the recording of that.
Yep.
We streamed this evening. You can see that. But I guess the announcer thought kind of a little bit of a change between the second and third movements. He thought it was over and was almost walking you out the field like, hey, here's, but the band handled that really well, it seemed like. What did you guys think about that?
There was so much applause after that second movement. You just thought we were done.
Yeah.
No, I was super proud of the kids because they just handled it like champs. We've never had a distraction like that happen during a show, but they had their game face on, they were ready to go, and they just kept going. And really it happened in a better place than it could have, because they were already very intensely counting out some different marching steps. So they just handled it well. I'm proud of them.
I guess one of the first rules of music is you never stop, right? If you're not done playing, you just keep going. You don't let anything bother you. So, but that was a real testament, though, for the maturity of the band. I thought that was something that is not usual, but they handled it very well.
Absolutely.
Well, what do you guys see going forward now that you get past this? We don't know what the results are tonight, but obviously you placed very well to get in the finals this evening. That's a big accomplishment there, just in that. But no matter what the results are tonight, you're just very proud of these kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything you guys would like to add about the performance this evening?
We're proud and very tired.
One more chance to see it.
One more chance to
at
see
the
it.
next home game at halftime.
Absolutely.
That'll be the farewell performance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see this show again this Friday night, and it'll be great to see you guys relaxed and the pressure off you a little bit, and just perform it all out, for the home crowd. So, hey, Ryan, Taylor, Jillian, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the work you did with these kids this year. So,
Thank you.
all right, the buttons don't want to push today. That's all three of the band directors there. Thank you. Appreciate them hanging out a little bit and giving us a little bit of an interview there at the end of that competition. They were very tired. All of us were very tired. It was a long day, but they persisted and came out well, and they've made some good improvements and good strides with the band there. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Coaches Show, on the Horizon Construction Coaches Show. We come back, we'll reveal the guest that's with Coach Morgan here today, and he's not nervous at all, right? No, he's shaking his head no. He says no. So we'll hold him to that. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Coach's Corner with head coach Rusty Morgan is brought to you by Horizon Construction, reminding you your home is our pride. Call Horizon Construction at 918-399-5835 and get your free estimate today.
At Davis Dental Studio, our patients are our friends. Unlike the big commercial facilities, Davis Dental Studios wants you to know you're not just a number. We strive to bring personal and quality service to each patient. Dr. Rebecca Davis has over 18 years of experience as a caring and compassionate dentist. She and her highly trained staff will make sure your visit is a positive one. So remember, when you and your family need dental care, Davis Dental Studio. You're not just a patient, you're a friend.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Bank of Cushing, a branch of Blue Sky Bank Pawhuska, wants you to know they are still the same friendly hometown bank. Local people that live, work, and worship right here in Cushing. Providing you the same great service, more convenient products and technology, making your local banking experience even better. A great bank, serving a great community. Bank of Cushing, a branch of Blue Sky Bank Pawhuska.
Since 2003, Pro Events has had one singular focus: great audio, video, and lighting systems. Never confusing our industry with the PC crowd, Pro Events always provides you with the best, most reliable options for your house of worship, school, or corporate training facility. Make your system stand out from the crowd. And remember,
for the best AV, you know where to go visit proevents.pro.
now looking at it, it's always good to go out and get your 15 district points, and you're on the road. You're playing, at that point was a ranked team in the state of 4A, and we are in 4A. We knew they were a very athletic football team.
Actually, they were the leaders in the district. I mean, they were really leading the district coming into that game, right?
And just what they had done, we knew we're walking in and they're going to be confident, sitting at 5-1, and regardless of who they played and all that, and that was the team that we saw. And I think. With them scoring first and it being 6-0 and us kind of trying to feel it out there early on, whenever all that happens and you walk out with a 41-6 victory, with all the ups and downs and all that stuff, you feel good about getting a district win and in a pretty lopsided one at that. But that they're a good football team, and I think we figured it out enough as the game went on and kind of settled in and ultimately got it done.
Well, that goes to, all the study that goes into that, all the film that you watch, all the preparations that you make. You start to see some of those tendencies come to light there in right in front of you in the game, and then you react to those. And fortunately, your players are heads up, and there's a lot of athletic intelligence on the field. I mean, they're using that. How would you speak to that?
Just good, hard-nosed kids, and one of them sitting right here that kind of figured it out. And I felt good, speaking on the defensive side of the ball. Now, after that first drive, after they scored, we kind of held them at bay all night long, and we got things clicking offensively, and like we talked about, we capitalized on some big plays. And going into halftime, it was 34-6, and you never want to take your foot off the gas. They're a team that can score in a lot of different ways. They're really good at returns. They've had a lot of big offensive plays this year, so. Just kind of figuring it out and knowing what you got to do, and at the end of it, we got a lot of different guys in the game that night, and I thought we played, again, good enough against a confident opponent to get it done.
Absolutely. Well, there were a lot of big plays in that game, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and really on the defensive side of the ball too, because we were just stopping them all night long. And Connor, let's talk to you. We were talking a little bit on defense. Of course, you were our defensive MVP last week, and so we were kind of asking you, how are you sizing these guys up when you first step on the field? What's going through your mind when you first get a look at your opponent in person? It's not on film. You're seeing how big they are. What you think you can do to them, the speed. How you can defeat them at the line of scrimmage. What's going through your head?
Well, when I watch film, it's kind of hard to tell their size, but they're like a Goliath, you can tell. But usually you can't really tell their size. So when you get to see them in person, it helps a little bit, especially if they're like 6'3" or if they're just 5'8", you can't really tell.
Those first few plays, though, you're kind of sizing them up, though. You're sizing up their speed, how they're moving. How are you sizing them up based on the moves that you have in your repertoire, what you can do to get in the backfield and cause some disruption?
Well, I can just see how they move with their knee, or just tell them that, and then if they can't use their hands that well, if they're trying to hold or just try to block with their elbows or anything, I can club them down or anything and just go around. But if they're better with their hands, I'll try to do something else and rip through or hit a swim or something.
Now, you're talking about a swim move. You said you've been working on the swim move a little bit. So tell us kind of how you execute that on somebody at the line of scrimmage there.
I can stand up. You can show them.
No, it's just more it catches them off guard, because usually I'm the type of player to stay low and just try to rip and go underneath them. So whenever I switch that up, they're so used to going low that I'll put my arm over their head and just go right over them, and they're not ready for it. And usually it works on big pass plays.
Kind of the idea to get them off balance a little bit, and then you're past them, and then you're in the backfield. You can cause some disruption like that. Now? To be honest with us, what's going through your head once you get past a guy at the line of scrimmage, and you can see that the quarterback's back to pass, and you think you got him targeted? I mean, what's going through your mind about that time?
Oh, I'm just hoping I don't miss.
You don't miss.
I've done that a couple times, and it's not a good feeling missing a wide open quarterback. But it's usually what goes through my mind first. Don't miss that.
Awesome.
One thing Connor is great at, I'm going to add to this, so I don't embarrass you here, his first step and just his speed. He's not the biggest defensive lineman out there, and he's an interior defensive guy for us, never comes off the field. And, his speed, his toughness, his strength, and doing all that to defeat that first move that he's talking about is awesome. And it shows, he had a couple sacks Thursday night, multiple tackles for loss, and actually I believe led our team in tackles on Thursday. So he does a great job, and everything he's talking about, he works diligently at.
Yeah, absolutely. The preparation for all that stuff doesn't just happen in a week or two, or just while you're watching film one day. I mean, this is preparation during the summer and in the weight room and all that kind of stuff, footwork and all that kind of stuff when you're preparing for the season. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about how that works when you're preparing for a game and you only got the scout team in front of you a little bit. Are you trying to put that other guy in your mind? Are you trying to visualize that other guy across from you in the line?
Well, it's just every lineman's different, so no matter who I go against, I'll just get better at that certain, I would say, like, type of player, certain kind of lineman. So if it's like a bigger guy, it'd be easier to work better on that and get lower than him. But if it's a more quick guy, I can get better with my hands and get faster than him and work on my hand speed and anything like that.
Gotcha. So it's just about sizing them up and just kind of equating what you've seen on film to the real person in front of you, and just using all those skills that you have in your repertoire to get after them and get to the quarterback. That's the ultimate goal, right? Get to the ball, right?
He's good at it.
That's good. That's good. Well, listen, we've got a few highlights this week, Coach. And apologize, we haven't had more of these throughout the beginning of the year, but we've got a few this week, and we certainly want to play those. And those are kind of sponsored by Tank Farm Services, and we appreciate those guys out there. But we want to show these replays here. Let's take a look at what we've got here this week.
Here's Hilligoss. The Titans really firing up that middle, and Hilligoss comes near side. He's got touchdown Tigers.
And he got
Hilligoss to Matheson on an end around. Touchdown Tigers. Matheson finds the corner. Is able to just put him a little deeper anyway, and that's wide open over the middle. High, so he's got nothing but the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. No flags on the play.
Wyatt Heisler just slipped out there.
Fielded by Hilligoss. Field opens Wood up. Now Lane off to the races. He's got one man. And he's at the 20. He'll score. Touchdown Tigers. Lane Wood with the catch, and just a really well designed. The four wide receivers now. Roman Tucker in motion. Hilligoss looks downfield, fires over the middle, wide open. Tackler cuts back, searching for, finding end zone touchdown. You're watching it live right here on Hub Network.
And right there, Coach, you can see a lot of those. I mean, that's kind of the story of the game. You watched a lot of those passes over the middle. A lot of green opened up right there. Is that something that you guys saw on film that knew would be there for you guys?
Yeah, Coach Chisholm, Coach Powell, Coach Moore, they all, are great at seeing that and knew played a lot of man coverage and knew we could get some guys open with time. And you saw Wyatt there wide open a few times, and again, a credit to seeing it on film and then these guys executing it, but lining up quickly, kind of trying to confuse who they're seeing and that kind of stuff, and ultimately John getting them the ball and letting them run in space, and those clips you saw were part of that.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about this here in a minute as well, but setting up those plays, I mean, there's a long strategy there of a balanced offense, running and passing, and to work that defense, to work them into a spot where you're going to be able to take advantage on some of those plays.
Yeah, again, it's kind of the flow of the game, and you do want to be balanced whenever you take the field and do some things. But again, our offensive line did a good enough job. There were some times where they got pressure and it was tough. They brought a lot of pressure and things like that. But good enough job to get John some time. And again, you saw those clips right there where receivers are running and doing that, and
Absolutely.
Capitalize on those big plays like we've talked about.
Absolutely, and again, props to the offensive line, because he had a lot of time, good pockets on a lot of those passes. He had time to step up in the pockets and make those passes downfield a little bit. And a lot of times, though, the linebackers were just completely vacated there in the middle of the field, and you had crossing routes open, and Heisler again wide open. We'll see another play from him here in just a minute, but the middle of the field is like they were almost giving it to you.
Yeah, and they walked those linebackers up and weren't trying to disguise it at all. We have 5 to protect 6 basically when those 2 are walked up, and again that stresses the offensive line. But at the same time, if you can get a piece of them, there's going to be some openings out there, and found enough of them to get it done.
Well, I think we could say it's supposed to stress the offensive line, but I would say they handled it all very well, because they were constantly doing that to you guys, trying to put some more pressure on the offensive line, and they did not win that battle.
Yeah, and that's even on film they'd shown that's what they wanted to do, and there was no guessing about it. When they're coming, and that is very difficult for centers and guards to see and try to pass it off and do all that according to our rules, what we do on the offensive line, and did just enough to give us time. So.
Absolutely. Well, and we talked a lot with Lonnie Schuler last week about the coverages, calling the gaps and the stuff in there, but there had to have been a lot of that going on just to make sure you were covering those guys walking up and seeing what was happening there on the offensive line.
And that's always it's always hard, especially whenever they're blitzing so aggressively and doing that. That's always hard to duplicate during practice. But I think we did have a good look from our scout team this week, and it was frustrating at times throughout the weeks because we did have such a good look. But again, yeah, they did enough to give us time and get it done.
When you see those linebackers start to cheat up, and you know that they're gonna play you there, either they're trying to put pressure on the line or trying to stop the run, whatever they're doing, they're cheating those people up in the box there a little bit. Does that change your call on the routes that you're running as far as what the receivers are doing?
I think it does. Coach Chisholm calling the offense, I think he sees that, and there was, like I said, there's no guesswork in it. They're coming or they're not, and whenever he sees that, we do a lot of things where he freezes them so we can see what they're going to line up in, and then make the play call, and really good about being able to throw it behind them or run away from it or whatever the case may be. So yeah, there are times whenever it's not disguised that definitely see that from the sideline, and Coach Chisholm makes a call.
Well, you talk about a lot of weeks. You talk about take what the offense or what the defense gives you on offense, and that was what they were giving you all night long, because a lot of those, and in the highlights, you can see a lot of just open green spaces out there, and they were certainly giving you the middle of the field, and we took full advantage of that on several different plays. Yeah,
and just a testament to our kids executing, that, and understanding that they weren't going to, they weren't trying to clean it up out there or show anything. What they were going to line up in is what they were going to do, and with different motions and things, you can kind of get out of some of that. So, kids executed what the call was.
Well, I want to look at what we called the Big Tiger play on Thursday, because this was, I think, the most open I've ever seen anybody in the middle of the field in a long time, if not ever. But I mean, it was a pretty big deal. Let's take a look at this play right here. Open, coach, that you almost think, I've got the ball. I mean, you have time to think, I've caught the ball. Now I can run. I'm not going to trip. I've got 15 yards to the goal line. Let's get there. I mean, that's a wide open. That's as open as you can get.
Yeah, that's one of those that, like we talked about, that's so wide open that it's easy to overthrow or not catch because you're out there. But that right there was, just another thing like we talked about of, we're usually no huddle. We're lining up and getting the call from the sideline, and that was one where we huddled and went fast, and something that our offensive staff saw throughout the week. And again, playing man coverage, and if you line up quick and snap it quickly and don't give them time to adjust to the formation, and you see what happens.
Well, obviously, we pointed out those two linebackers there in the middle field. I mean, Heisler ran right by him, and they didn't even. They were so either confused by what was going on or focused on the run or something else coming at him. They didn't even look at him. I mean, he didn't even glance over and say, "Hey, there's a guy in a white jersey that just blew by us."
Probably a combination of both, seeing the line up quickly and not huddling like we do, and it was confusing, and it worked out for the Tigers.
Well, those are the kind of things that are going pretty well on the sideline when you call that play and you're that wide open. You're like, yeah, that's the way that play's supposed to go, right? So
run that one every time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that it brings up a good point because people say, well, why don't we start off with that? Well, you got to set that up a little bit, and that comes with the other things that you're doing on offense, the running game, and all that kind of stuff. So, I think very balanced running attack and passing attack. Maybe we had a little more passing this time. We wanted to maybe sustain and milk the clock a little bit going down the field, but we were. When you score 50-yard touchdowns, that doesn't takes away from that.
Well, I don't think it's secret to anybody. I think there's sometimes this week, we wanted to run the ball a little more than we did, and we were having success on the other side of things. The one that kind of sticks out there, we're moving down the field, there, and we need some work on the 2-minute offense right before half, and penalties kind of put us behind the chains there, and we had to get out, but we need work on all of it, and there are times we would have liked to run the ball a little bit better, but John ran the ball well. I think there were a few times that we had some holes opened up that we did a good job, but that's one kind of emphasis that we're going to improve on.
Absolutely, and you saw even in the replays there, you saw Lane Wood even come across the middle on some short, shallow crossing routes right across and was wide open, and he scored a touchdown off of that. The run after the catch, though, you have to say, a lot of times the heads-up play, they know that they're obviously guys coming at them, going to take a hit, but their feet are still moving, their legs are still churning, and they're shooting for the goal line every time they can touch the ball. So.
Brady was hit a couple times and had runs after the catch or, even after contact, and then you saw Lane there kind of split two defenders and scored on a 50-plus yard catch, and good physical group of receivers and running backs when they get the ball in their hands.
Well, when it's all working, it's just all working, I guess, in that case, and everybody was doing their job that night. And so that brings us to our MVPs, RCB MVPs. That's my Tiger for Week 7 at McLean, and it's Lane Wood, number 2 receiver, and that 50-yard touchdown was part of that, and obviously a good run after the catch. He just didn't go down on first contact. I mean, he kept everything going until he found the goal line, and he did a great job. And then for a second week in a row, we have Connor Moreland here as the defensive MVP. And we didn't
so mean in that picture.
Tough, looks pretty tough. And we didn't know you were coming today, so that wasn't planned. But just good all-around play, Connor, from you. And what's that feel like? 2 weeks in a row, you're the defensive MVP here, and well deserved, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It gets me pretty hot and excited for the games to come.
Absolutely. What are you looking for this week in preparation? You've had a couple of days, a little more downtime this week than what you normally have, but what are you looking for next week in practice?
The extra day rest was amazing. It was great having the extra day.
Yeah.
But it just gives my body one more day to prepare for the next game. I mean, got another game Friday, got to play. Show up, show out.
Yeah. Now, you've watched film a little bit. Have you watched film on Cleveland already a little bit? You see anything there that you're concerned about or you want to prepare for? What are you looking at this week?
Their line's a little big. They're not like monsters, but they definitely got a little bit of weight to them. So I'm going to have to get lower this week and work on my rip and try to outpower them, outspeed.
Gotcha. So you're just kind of going to, when you size those guys up again, when they show up on the field and you start sizing them up and you're looking at that foot speed, you're watching their knees, their waist, how they're moving when they're coming off the line, and you're just deciding what's going to be best to get by them, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long does that take you to make those adjustments?
It's really just like in the moment. I would say it's just like right when the ball smacked, I would see if they kick step or something, I know what I'm going to do. But if I see a double team coming towards me, I'll have to like completely switch up my plan. And it's just kind of in the moment instead of thinking out.
Trained reaction,
Yeah.
right? You rely on your training and all that stuff in practice. So, and how much time do you spend on that, Coach? I mean, you got a good offensive line, a good defensive line, and you how have you been developing that over the years, and what was seeing the fruition of all that work?
Well, you know, a lot of it, which we talk about every week, is in the weight room and those guys buying into that. But as far as like in season, we practice for 2 hours a day, give or take, depending on JV games, junior high games, when we have to be off the field. But we do team setting stuff during practice, but we have probably about 20 minutes of individual time with them just working on the stuff he's talking about. And that's really when you can kind of fine tune that, you know, take your time and really talk through it. Because when we're going team, it's running the play and there's 11 guys doing it. But that's kind of when they work on their technique and do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to exercise that technique a little bit, and again, work out the kinks a little bit, and work out the speed of those moves and how they kind of change it. I mean, sometimes that's what you're saying is a surprise to the other guy on the other side of the line there. You're trying to keep them off balance all the time and work. If they're a bigger guy, you're trying to work against that weight or use that against them a little bit, get them moving one way and go the other way, I guess is what you're trying to do, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll try not to answer my own questions from now on. I'll ask you a little bit better questions. That wasn't a very good interview or question, but no, obviously you've had some success the last couple of games and a lot of tackles. What do you attribute that to mostly?
Probably the coaches just helping me out. They've always helped me ever since last year, giving me a chance to even get an opportunity to play, and they've helped me and supported me the whole way, helped me on no techniques.
Do you feel like the preparation that the coaches put you through, I mean, the work in the film room and all that kind of stuff, it really attributes to that? Because you seem pretty well prepared for the opponents that you're facing, and are we even down to the specific guys across the line? Are we doing some of that, Coach?
Oh yeah, you know, you can't talk a lot about it because you got to move on and practice and do all that. But that's on Mondays. First thing we do is kind of sit there as a group and talk about, you know, myself and Coach Moore and these guys, the defensive line, and just talk about their personnel. Here's what they can do. Here's what they got, and you know, talk about that quickly. And the rest, you kind of just go on the fly. But you know, Connor got his opportunity last year to start, and you know, again, I'm not going to dwell on it. I mean, Connor's size is good enough, but you look at a typical you know, defensive tackle or nose guard, and you know, they're typically bigger than he is, but they don't have his heart, they don't have his speed, his strength, and you know, guys like him who work like him, and he's not the only one on this team. They deserve those opportunities, and he got his and never looked back. So,
absolutely,
extremely proud of Connor.
Absolutely. Well, and when you give credit to the coaches like that, there's a lot that goes into that. Obviously, you trust the coaches, you trust the preparation that they give you guys, and you trust the schemes that they're giving you guys that it's going to work, and then you go out there and execute. And that's not always an easy connection to make, is it, Coach, or is it for you, Connor? I mean, sometimes you have to trust in things that you may not have done yet.
Yeah, there'll be some weeks where they give me a game plan. I'm like, I don't know if that'll work, but I'll still do it, and it'll end up working every time.
Yeah.
Come on, don't say that.
Now you're buttering up the coaches a little bit, Connor, but that's all right. That's all right. Well, I mean, but that has to work hand in hand like that, does it not?
Sure,
with teammates on the field, and you know, speaking of teammates on the field, we've watched, you know, this team start this year. It had maybe some playing time last year a little bit, you know, to kind of get going, but a lot of questions maybe at the beginning of this year. Is this team really going to be good enough? Are they going to be coming off of, you know, the team last year? But you guys have seemed to improve that and improved it in a pretty impressive way, I would say, so far this year. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I would have to agree. At the beginning of the season, there was a lot of doubt, and not within the team, but around the community. And I really just took that personally, I guess, and just wanted to run with it and prove everyone wrong. So whoever was lined up with me, I just gave them the line and said, come on, let's go show everyone what's up. And then they just kind of went with me. And then so far, we've just been showing everyone what we can do with our team. Absolutely.
And I think the defense has been incredibly impressive this year, you know, with a lot of these teams and a lot of what you faced. Certainly in the Wagner game, we would say playing those guys as tight as you did, that could have easily been a different outcome in that game, just depending on, you know, a couple of things going some different ways. But, you know, how do you feel like the team is sitting in confidence and morale right now going into the last couple of games of the season?
I think we're pretty high morale, pretty high confidence, especially at the last couple games, because we proved that we're up there. We're contenders. So I think just knowing that and then proving it to people and then proving it to ourselves, especially us, I think it puts spur our confidence up.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have certainly had a target on your back all year because of last year, and so but you've responded to that very well. I think all the adversity you've faced during the season, you guys have responded very well to and very maturely to, and that goes to the question. One of the questions that our commentary James Caulfield asked you in the post-game interview, Coach, about the maturity of the team because they've had some time on the field even last year and this year. And you start to see some of that pay off in big ways.
You bet. And anytime you can get multiple guys in and get meaningful minutes on a Thursday or Friday night is big. And you know, we've talked last year that happened quite a bit, and you know it's happened a few times this year as well. And anytime you're out there and you're playing and getting a lot of reps and minutes on that field, that's big time.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll listen to the post-game interview, and then we'll talk a little bit about next week and what's coming up maybe this next couple of weeks for the team. So stay with us. We'll be right back here in just a minute.
Stay with us on the Tiger Football Live Coaches Show, Coach's Corner, with head coach Rusty Morgan. Coach's Corner will be right back after these messages.
RCB Bank is more than a transaction. We work to make your life easier. We help build your business. We finance your dreams. We grow your legacy. We build relationships with our communities. Come in to find out why our customers always say, RCB Bank. That's my bank.
Since 2003, Pro Events has had one singular focus: great audio, video, and lighting systems. Never confusing our industry with the PC crowd, Pro Events always provides you with the best, most reliable options for your house of worship, school, or corporate training facility. Make your system stand out from the crowd. And remember,
for the best AV, you know where to go visit proevents.pro.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
At Davis Dental Studio, our patients are our friends. Unlike the big commercial facilities, Davis Dental Studios wants you to know you're not just a number. We strive to bring personal and quality service to each patient. Dr. Rebecca Davis has over 18 years of experience as a caring and compassionate dentist. She and her highly trained staff will make sure your visit is a positive one. So remember, when you and your family need dental care, Davis Dental Studio. You're not just a patient, you're a friend. Want to take a look at, we're back on the Horizon Construction Coaches Show. I want to take a look at a couple things here. We also have the game ball we need to award today, and that is going to go to Cade Ralston, and I think he's very deserving as well of a game ball. Tough play, and we've been calling Cade's name a lot the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot of activity down there with Cade, and certainly well deserving of a game ball here. He just had good, excellent play on the line on both sides of the ball, and done a great job, Coach. What would you say about that?
Well, Cade may not know it yet, but he may be up here soon. So,
okay, all right, yeah.
No,
good.
he's another one who's in the trenches on both sides of the ball all night long. Never comes off the field, and just the toughness that he displays every time he's on the field is awesome. And he's on the defensive side. He's right beside Connor for the entirety of the game, and does a really good job. He's, Connor may be, not to take anything away from Cade, a little bit quicker and slipping those blocks and doing some things, but Cade is really good at taking on double teams. He uses his hands extremely well on both sides of the ball, and just another really, really tough player.
Well, another reason, and we have two players, and they have to be right beside each other on the line. And another reason why we keep talking about the play of the line, offensive and defensive, both sides of the ball. Obviously, you guys are working really good as a team. And what would you say about your teammate, Cade Ralston, there next to you?
Oh, I love it. I love being next to him. He's always making me laugh, and it's really good. It's a really good duo just because you got a big boy that can eat double teams. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
No one pushes him down, and then someone like me, super quick, it just catches really that front three really off guard, the center and the guards. They don't really know what to do half the time.
It kind of shows you how they work together and how they I mean, you have to kind of decide as an offensive line, how are we going to do this? How are we going to try to take on these two guys and keep them out of there?
And Coach Fry has actually, made a call where we kind of flip-flop those two guys, so they're not offensive line's not always seeing the same guy either, and just moving them around a little bit. But yeah, they did do an unbelievable job in the interior of that defense.
Yeah, I think a huge benefit this year to the team has been that offensive line, the experience of the offensive and defensive line, and just the pressure that you can apply on the defensive side and the protection you can give on the offensive side for some guys that are stepping in and having to do some of those skilled roles, kind of work into that a little bit. Yeah. And boy, having just a couple, an extra second or an extra 2 seconds is huge when you're playing the game of football, just
Absolutely.
To see the field and complete some passes like that, get open.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes a big difference. Well, let's take a look before we get too far along here, before we get talking about next week, Coach, about your interview with James Caulfield on the field in the post-game interview. It would have been Thursday night. I got to get it all straight in my head yet still, but Thursday night. Let's take a look here.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go live right down on the field right now with James and Fuzzy Mike and Coach Morgan.
Okay, Coach Morgan. Travis, you can't hear it, but Travis is up there. He's named the microphone that we're using now Fuzzy Mike.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, hey, good win tonight.
Thank you. It took us a little while to get going. Not going to make excuses about any start time or anything like that, but for whatever reason, seemed lackluster there at first. And, a good football team, and you know me well enough, I'm not going to take anything away. Coach Ponder's doing a job with them. They play extremely hard, but once we kind of got going, things went well.
Yeah, that's a good football team, and great job for them. They've had a good season all year long. You're just giving them their second loss this season. Cushing comes in, and it was weird. It was a weird feeling at the beginning of the game, the whole start of it. One of our producers up there said it felt like a Saturday game, like it was a weird feel, this vibe in with all the clouds and stuff. And I know you're not making excuses, but it was a different feel in a long first half.
It's different. McLean had to deal with it just like we did. And, but coming on the road, it is no school, and you're eating a little earlier, your team lunch and all that stuff. It's different, but, you got to overcome those things. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the year, that state championship game could be on a Thursday, Saturday, you never know. And, you just got to roll with it. But again, once we got going today, I thought we did an excellent job.
Boy, this really showed the Tigers just how strong. It showed everybody how strong the Tigers are. And if we didn't see it last week, I mean, it was a great game last week. 1 point. What a tearjerker at the end. But this really, it's demonstrating over again how good the Tigers are.
Yeah, I really, truly believe the kids and coaching staff believe that we can go play with anybody in the state. I think we proved that last week, playing that number 1 team. And, again, a top 10 team whose second loss they got tonight. And, we got to continue to get better. I feel good. We had a couple guys banged up, not too bad tonight. So we're rolling into week 8, fairly healthy and just keep getting better.
We saw you put some of the younger players in tonight. How important was it last year getting all that playing time for these players now?
I think it's big. Anytime you can get up like that and get guys experiences on a Thursday night, but I think it's great. You're seeing live stuff. You're seeing great athletes. You're seeing a good team over here, and they get to see that stuff. So anytime you can get that experience, it's good.
Hey, next week we're back at home. What are you looking for there?
We got a little break here over the weekend. Now we'll take Friday and Saturday off and come in Sunday. A Cleveland football team. I don't know what they're doing right now or anything like that, but we're playing at Odell Field again in front of the best fans in the state of Oklahoma, and anytime that happens, I like our chances.
Hey, Coach Morgan, great win. Thanks for your time. Back to you guys.
There you have thoughts from head coach Morgan, James and.
And there you go, Coach. Again, thank you so much for those interviews at the end of the game. We appreciate that very much. I think it gives the viewers of the game a little insight on what's going on obviously in your head, just sizing the game up. But you mentioned a lot of things there about, we always talk a little bit about next week and going on, but just you can't overlook a week. You can't go past 1 week ever, and this is another example of that coming at you this week.
It is, and I never sit there and as coaches and hopefully as players we never look at records and what happened the previous weeks and things like that. Hopefully we're looking at the film, what they can do well, what we can kind of exploit, and looking at it from that standpoint. But Cleveland's going to come in. What I see on film from them is they're a team that, regardless of what has happened, they're still playing extremely hard. Coach Turner is first-year head coach there, and I think he's looking to turn things around. And like I said, they play extremely hard, and have no reason to doubt we're not going to take a good shot from them on Friday night. Absolutely.
Anything you've seen on film, Connor, that I think we asked you this a little bit, but again, it gives you some concern, or anything you want to prepare a little extra for this week?
Like Coach Morgan said, they're going to give us their best shot. They're going to be physical. They're not going to be scared to hit us up front, at least. They're going to try to put us on the ground.
And you think their size they're a little bit bigger, maybe, but maybe not as fast, is what you kind of size that up. Is that right?
Yeah, they're a little bigger, but they're not gigantic or anything. But
gotcha.
They're definitely big enough to put me on the ground.
Well, we'll see if they get a chance to do that or not. I doubt that somehow. I doubt you'll let them do that. But so yeah, this week, Coach, you're kind of looking at Cleveland coming in. That's all. It's been different over the years. We've played Cleveland. Sometimes they're but we've kind of had their number the last couple of years. But that doesn't mean anything when it comes to Friday night, and it doesn't mean anything when it comes to playing this game.
It doesn't, and I do feel good about the week of preparation I know we'll have. I feel good about where we're at, health-wise and all that kind of stuff rolling into week 8, because some teams can be, destroyed by that right now, and very, very blessed that we have very few cases of anything going on. So, again, I feel good about the way these guys will come in and be ready to roll tomorrow and have practice and prepare, for the next opponent, which just happens to be Cleveland.
And let's ask you, Connor, about this. I mean, you get beat up, you get banged up out there a little bit. What's the best way to get over that, and how long does it take you to get healed up for the next week?
Usually takes me. Saturday is usually just my rest day. I usually just sit home, make some wings or something, watch college football all day. But I usually don't move around that much. And then by Sunday, I'm good and ready to go do something else.
No big ice baths or anything like that? No, you don't need that kind of stuff. You're way too young for that. So yeah, it is good that relatively few injuries, and we don't want to, say anything again. I go to the Jared Kennedy issue. Don't say it if it's we already got whatever. I don't jinx anything, but
right.
Anyway. But no, you've had really good health. Everybody's done really well, and no significant injuries anyway.
Sure. Week 8 of a football season, there's always going to be bumps and bruises and things that you have to tend to and deal with. But like I said, we've got a tough bunch. We really do, that can work through a lot of that stuff. And like I said, I like where we're at right now, the mindset, the attitude, and I know how we'll show up and have a good week of practice.
Absolutely. Just kind of looking at the district now, just kind of the way things are sizing up a little bit. Do you see anything out there, not necessarily anybody that we're playing, but maybe some other games out there that might have some impact on the standings?
Yeah, it's difficult to say right now. It really is with 3 district games left to play. Right now with Wagner being undefeated, us at 3-1, you've got, I believe, Oologah at 3-1, and several right there. McLean, the same one with their first district loss being to us. So there's still a lot to be worked out, and that's why I don't want to sound too cliche when I say it every week and all that, but you truly do have to take it 1 week at a time, and that stuff sooner than later starts to work itself out. We're not quite there yet, but
sure,
it will soon.
Now, of course, playing Cleveland next week, will that have any impact? As far as we're concerned, we slipped ourselves back into a solid second place in the district. Is that correct?
Yes.
This week, so with points and everything, that took McLean down to at least 3rd.
Yes.
Right now. So Wagner and Cushing. And then we just don't know what else would shake out there. Everybody gets to go play their games, right?
Right, and like I said, it comes down to those head-to-head matchups, and Oologah being one of them. They're still in our final 3 games here. As it sits right now in district points, yes, we're at 2nd, but with those head-to-heads coming up, those trump those district points. So still some things to be worked out, but again, you know, you win a district game on Friday night, this Friday night, then you can kind of start to look and see where they fall.
Would the win over Cleveland solidify anything for us as far as moving into the playoffs?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. I know there's it may at least get you in the top 4, but I'd have to sit down and really look at that.
Right, so it might at least clinch a playoff berth, but we wouldn't know how that plays out exactly yet. Right. So then the other thing would be you know, the home playoff game, which is always a big thing. If you're the top seed or the second seed, obviously, or first or second in the district, you have a home playoff game. You're guaranteed that at least. That would be nice to always have here in Cushing, as it's a great atmosphere and that sort of thing. But we can't really look forward to that yet. Maybe next week we'll be talking a little bit more about some of those implications.
You know, as you get kind of down the stretch here, you always, you know, at least as a coach, you kind of look at some scenarios and this and that. But there is still so much to be worked out. You know, I know we'll cross over, or our district will cross over with 4A4 as far as that goes. So. You know, you pay attention to some of those games, but it's the same thing. They have a lot to work out down there too. So just a lot to be worked out here. You got to take it one day, 1 week at a time, and then, like I said, the chips fall where they will. Gotcha.
Well, hopefully some chips will spill out of the bag by next week, and maybe we'll kind of know a little more. Connor, so just give me the all-around feel for this year and leadership on the team and feel for the team going into the playoffs. You guys are pretty excited about what you're doing?
Oh, I'm very excited.
How do you feel like the team is in shape mentally and ready for these last pushing into the playoffs?
I think the team's ready, at least our defense from the defensive side. I think we're excited and ready to keep going and keep showing people what we can do.
Anybody you want to meet again in the playoffs? Anybody you're looking at? You kind of maybe got a target out there for?
No.
Too early to decide that. Well, I thought since you were here, I'd ask you because I may not get a chance to ask you again. So I thought I'd at least put you in the hot seat and see if you'd crack. But again, Coach, he's doing everything the coaches told him to do.
I didn't tell him anything. I said, be yourself. And, hey, Connor doesn't care who we're playing. He might not even know who it is. So he just goes and plays.
He didn't even know what the color of the jersey is. Doesn't care, right? That's great. That's awesome. Well, hey, Coach, Connor, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it. Congratulations this week on your performance last week, Coach. Thank you, sir, very much every week. Appreciate it. And stay right here. Next week, we got a lot coming up. And I do want to mention before we go here, I look down here at my notes. Cross country team has also done a great job. They've got going on. They have. Let me show you this. This is a cross country team right here, high school team, and several girls have. Individuals have made it state. Amaya Grant, Morgan Franklin, and Tony Leverage are all going to state, and the boys team is going to state as well. So congratulations to all those guys on a great year there for the cross country team. They're doing a lot of good work there. There's just so much to cover. We can't hardly get to all of it, but we know that you're keeping up with it on Facebook. We'll try to put as much of that stuff out there as we can for you on Facebook and keep you informed of what's going on. So stay with us. We've got a lot going on. Tomorrow night is a Cushing Matters program, city program. We'll have Bruce Johnson in here talking a little bit about refinery issues and those sorts of things. And then the following Saturday, we've got Daniel Warrior, who is actually going to be on the red carpet for Flowers of the Killer Moon over in Tulsa. So we've got a chance for him to come in here and sit in the studio and visit with us a little bit. A local boy made good. He's living down in Florida somewhere now, so we get to catch up with him and check in on him a little bit. And we'll get to hear all the stuff that he's been doing since he's been 23 years since he's been back to Cushing, but he's coming back this next week, and I think he's going to speak at the school and some other places. And so we're going to get a chance to visit with him. So, all right, that's it for the Horizon Construction Coaches Show today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Coach's Corner, sponsored by Horizon Construction. Reminding you, your home is our pride. Watch Coach's Corner with head coach Rusty Morgan next Sunday at 4 p.m.